I am Shireen Khan, and welcome to L&D Superfood. 10 minutes, one leader, and a power-packed dose of learning insights. In today's episode, we're going to cut through the noise on AI-powered learning to explore what's actually working and what's not, and where organizations might be falling short. Joining us today is Riaz Mulla, Head Leadership Learning and Talent Development at Tech Mahindra, who is driving the shift from traditional L&D to capability-led, future-ready learning ecosystems at the organization. Hi Riaz, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me on this. Pleasure being a part of the show.
Hi. Riaz, my first question to you, there is a lot of conversation right now around AI-led personalized learning. In reality, how much of that your L&D ecosystem today is truly personalized, and where do you still see the gaps between ambition and execution?
So, if you look at personalization, we started the journey about 1.5, 2 years back, and for us, personalization is more an evolving thing. It's a destination. It's not a destination, rather a journey rather than a destination. Why I say that is because the context keeps on changing so rapidly. We all see that. Okay. So what we realize is that it's very important to take an ontological approach to this and build the architecture that is needed. Because if you don't have the architecture, then you'll never be able to meet those changing needs. So we started off with having defining a skill taxonomy that is mapped to the current new skills. We are working on refining, and we have refined our job family framework, identified skill clusters mapped to various roles. We have identified the proficiency levels for each of those skills clusters depending upon the roles, etc. Then we also have created a skill intelligence platform which maintains a repository of the current skills and the new skills as they keep on getting added. And then we also bring on the individual aspiration elements in terms of what are the aspirations, etc. And all of this together today has helped us come up with personalized learning paths depending upon what people their aspirations are, and especially what their current role is demanding. Okay, in terms of where the technology of a particular project is and all that. So we go right up to a project level, identify the technologies, the adjacency skills, and that is where how we are being able to help create personalized learning paths using these tools for individuals.
Right. That's great to hear. Still trying to
So
um,
it's almost been an 18-month journey for us, and it's going on. Okay.
yeah, it's obviously an ongoing journey with everything that's
Yeah,
coming up.
yeah.
Yeah. In that journey, while you're in that journey, what has been the single biggest capability gap that you've been trying to solve for right now, and why has it been so difficult to close for you?
So the capability gap that we still see, one, of course, AI as a skill is very much needed, but AI has multiple facets to it. And if you see the tooling part of AI, helping people understand first gen AI, now we are talking about agentic AI, and it keeps on evolving. That is one part of it. That itself is complex. But beyond that, what is very important is how do we help people use AI to solve real client problems. And
Right.
that is where, even if you look at personalization, while personalization up to a project level and up to a individual is fine, personalizing it to the work context of a client is where the challenge is currently really there. Because we see that because of so many changes that are happening, one on the business model side, one on the technology side, other on the geopolitical side, what a client needs and a client's problem itself and a solution of that problem requires understanding beyond just technology. And how do you bring in that holistic perspective of understanding business, understanding the client's context, and then being able to use technology, whether it is AI, agentic AI, to solve a client's real life problem. I think that is where the key bridge is, and that is the bridge we are trying to solve.
Solve, yeah. Right, yeah. You know, it's very difficult to calculate the ROI of learning. We all know that, but L&D often talks about impact. But the measurement, as we know, is, a big challenge. So how do you actually quantify the business value of learning with Tech Mahindra?
I think the business value has a very close correlation with where is the need coming. Okay, and that is where we have already gone beyond transactional parameters like the number of learning hours, reach, etc. They remain, but they are hygiene parameters. So we have a model that is input or rather output, outcome, and benefit. So
Right.
output parameters like number of people trained, number of hours, etc. That continues, but that is hygiene. The question is, what is the outcome that the business is expecting? I mean, are we looking for faster deployment? Are we looking for building the pipeline so that we have a better internal fulfillment?
Yeah.
Are we looking at making our freshers billable much faster than what they were doing earlier? So these are some of the outcome parameters that we identify at the start of an initiative, depending upon where the business need is coming from. Sometimes it
Mhm.
may be a very specific client need. Sometimes it may be an organizational need. Okay, like internal fulfillment or more or better rotation of talent. So based on that, we define what are the parameters that are going to be measured, that are going to be used to measure the success. And then the whole initiative is designed to measure those outcome parameters. So identify what would be then the lead parameter, the lead parameters that would lead to those outcomes, and then we very diligently track those lead parameters to finally ensure post program that what the business came for, whether the business came because simply because the associates were the customer is expecting us to be more creative and come up with more problem solving. Then how does a customer define creativity? How does the customer define impact? And then at the end of the program, are those parameters impacted or not? From taking feedback directly from the client, these are some ways in which we try to go towards the outcome of what is expected. Then the benefit in terms of how much does that improve the margins? How much does that improve the revenue? We don't worry too much about that because that will happen. It's very difficult to say that because of this intervention, this was the revenue impact, because that is very difficult because revenue impact will have multiple variables. But yes, that is impact the factors leading where we are able to improve our bench utilization, whether we were able to improve our internal fulfillment. Those are parameters that can be measured, and we definitely do.
Great to hear that. So now, Riaz, we're moving on to our rapid fire round. And my first question to you is, what do you think is that one learning trend that's overhyped right now?
The one term which overhyped, I feel, is hyper personalization. Not that personalization is not important, but hyper personalization without understanding the work context, I think, is too much of effort with too little results.
Little results, right? What's keeping you awake at night when it comes to capability building?
Very clearly the short life skill of a skill, short life of a skill, and the new tools that are coming in. So you don't know what tool is going to come and shake up everything that you have done. So uh,
Yeah.
a leader today needs so many things, and a leader today needs to learn so many things. Look at business transformation, business models, look at technology changes, look at the workforce changes, look at the regulations that are changing in. All of these are very complex, and how do you ensure that your leader has all these inputs before she or he can make a decision? I think that a leader's job makes me awake.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely agreed with that. So, what is that one bold experiment in learning that you still want to try? And I'd like to just throw in that budget is no bar. So,
uh, I think one experiment which I definitely want to try with the experiment guide is team coaching. While we are doing individual coaching, and individual coaching has a lot of impact, but today uh, how you operate also, a lot of that has dependency on the team culture and how you are able to engage with the team.
yeah,
And team coaching is something definitely what is something that will give the results, make you a lot more results than individual coaching. So team coaching is an experiment that we'd love to try.
great, great, good to hear. So, a lot of HR leaders and L&D leaders watch our show. So, what is that one book, tool, or resource that you'd like to recommend that has deeply influenced your approach to L&D and you'd like to recommend to others?
Very interestingly, almost 15, 16 years back when I moved into L&D from business, the first book that I picked up was The Adult Learner by Malcolm Noyes. Okay.
Right.
And I still feel that uh, some of the key principles about adult learning that I learned over there, whether it was in terms of being able to relate it to the life, being able to come from the perspective of the learner. These are also fundamental things. I feel that they have really helped me over the years. Still, those principles are timeless, they apply. And I would suggest that, in fact, they have become a lot more relevant, especially in a world where there's been so much of dynamism that has happened. So that is one book I've always found very useful, and uh, I still apply those books.
Yeah, I think lessons from books, which are fundamental lessons,
Yeah,
usually rarely change over time. The shelf life is pretty long. Yeah. So thank you so much for that recommendation. I hope our viewers will tune into that book. And thank you so much, Riaz, for being a part of this episode of L&D Superfood. I hope you had a good time. And now to our viewers, please stay tuned to ETHRWorld Superfood for more exciting episodes as we dive deeper into the world of L&D and bring you more insights from top professionals across the industry. Catch our other episodes from our series on our YouTube channel in our L&D Superfood playlist. And until next time, keep learning and keep growing.